Beto Paredes here in our media center with Marketplace Masters, and I always love the opportunities that I get when I have one of our keynote speakers on the line with us, mostly because I like to get to know the people coming to our show. But in this situation, this is a very special kind of keynote that we're going to be having. As a matter of fact, Don Reed is in the house with us, and our plan is to have him keynote and also to do a workshop. So those dealers that are here listening, don't hesitate. Get a hold of these guys now, especially if you see there's a reason to do that. But come to our show. If you're in the service industry, there's going to be a lot that they offer. We're giving them a lot of space at our show. We're excited about that. So we got Don Reed in the house here with Dealer Pro Training. Don, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Beto. Thanks so much for giving me the call. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's a privilege for us to have you here. So Don, everyone, he's the CEO and founder of Dealer Pro Training. He's been in the business with Dealer Pro for 17 years, but before that, he was actually an auto dealer for 30 years. So he's coming from a lifetime of experience. There's a lot that he has to share. So Don, we really appreciate you in the house here. Your company has been training service and parts teams in auto dealerships for 16 years. Tell us how critical training is for these departments in a dealership and why you started the company with a focus on fixed operations, if you don't mind.
Well, when I was a dealer, I had a strong focus on fixed operations, and I always enjoyed fixed operations. And actually, I got started in the car business as a service advisor. So I kind of came up through service and parts and then moved into the sales side of the business. I know from my 20-plus years in 20 groups that there's a very high percentage of dealers in our industry that have little to no training in their service department. And Dealer Pro, we've now been in over 800 dealerships around the U.S. and Canada and the United Kingdom. And frankly, most of the service team members that we work with have had no training, let alone ongoing training. So it's really critical because I learned as a service advisor, the sales team is going to sell that first car to the customer, but it's the service team is going to keep them coming back for their second and their third and their fourth. And of course, we call that owner retention. And it's no different today than it was the first year that I got into the car. We've got to have a strong service team who can effectively communicate with customers if we expect to have those customers returning to our dealership, because the aftermarket competition is fierce. And there's a whole lot more choices in the aftermarket than there are with new car dealers. So we have to really set ourselves apart and provide the highest level of service that we can on each and every to the dealerships.
That makes incredible sense. Come in, buy a car, go through the process. You might trade that car in for 4 or 5 years, but you're going to see the service department probably 50 times before that choice is made. And so that makes tremendous sense. Oil changes, coming in to get your car tuned up, all the different things that come along with that. So I think that that is something that you specialize in, you've done really well with. Obviously, you've got a great reputation for it. And that kind of brings me to a question. What does Dealer Pro Training do that no other fixed operations consultant in the industry does?
Well, that's a really good question. The first thing that we do is that we evaluate a dealer's overall service and parts performance, and we compare that performance over a 2-year period to the NADA benchmarks in the industry, and then we help the dealer identify where their opportunities for improvement are, because dealer's not the same, so therefore every training package can't be the same. So we avoid cookie cutter type of approach. We try to customize the training agenda when we go into the dealerships based upon that initial analysis that we do, which takes about 2 days to complete that analysis. And then we'll come into the store and we'll start training. The second thing that makes us different is that we believe in ongoing training. This is not a 1-day program or a 5-day program or a 1-month program. We want to come back into that store every single month. And for the majority of our dealers, we're going to be in there about 14 months. Some dealers we're in 2, 3, 4 years. But you have to have ongoing training. Training is a never-ending process. So we like coming back every month in the dealership. And the last thing is that we feel so strongly about our training curriculum that we base our compensation on how the dealers perform. So if the dealer improves their performance, and my definition of performance is their customer paid business, in terms of getting more customers in the door, increasing sales per repair order, improving CSI, building owner retention. We get all that going, then the dealer's profits continue to grow, and we simply get compensated based on those profits. If we don't improve the dealer's profitability, then we simply don't get paid at all. So that's a big difference.
Well, that's a huge difference. Paid on performance is something that only the best in the industry really will go out there and put their neck out on, because they know their methods work. So obviously you guys are doing something right, have been doing it for quite some time. You mentioned increased profits. That's obviously something that these dealerships are highly cognizant of, and their opportunities, right, in fixed operations may not be that clear to them. So if a dealer principal or general manager was looking for increased profits, what does Dealer Pro training provide to get them there?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to provide a specific agenda based upon their individual needs, but we're going to evaluate their personnel. Number one, do they have the right personnel? Secondly, do they have enough personnel to provide the customer proper level of service, especially when it comes to that person called the service advisor? That we have to be very cognizant of how many customers an advisor is working with per day, so that we can give every customer the proper attention they deserve. But we like to sit down and talk with the dealer, talk with the general manager, the fixed ops director, the parts manager, and we want to get everyone's input as to what they think their needs are and what they see as the direction that they want to go. And then we all come together with what we call profit improvement plan. And then we implement that profit improvement plan over that 14-month term that I mentioned earlier. So it's not something that you can come into a dealership and accomplish in 4 or 5 days. I mean, it's an ongoing agenda. So that's the success that we've had thus far, and our dealers seem to be extremely happy with it.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Obviously, getting the data, getting the information from where they're at so you can build something forward is part of what makes the success in what you're doing, and that's apparent. So what are the typical results for a dealership that has utilized your award-winning training?
Our top dealer last month, which would be the month of May, had an improvement in his retail customer pay gross profit of about 72%. That's a great job. We tell our dealers going in that we would expect them to see a profit improve in the range of 30 to 40% over the previous year. So we just compare on a month basis how a dealer performs this year versus last year, so we can track their overall improvement in all the various categories that we're measuring. But somewhere in that 30 to 40% range of increase is very reasonable.
That is an incredible amount, really, especially when you score that over time and what that's doing for your bottom line on a yearly basis. So your website and marketing materials tout that you are the #1 fixed operations training company in the U.S. for both 2016 and 2017. How did you achieve this award, and tell me, what does it mean for your company?
Well, the award comes from the publication of Auto Dealer Today. They've been predominantly in sales and F&I, and in 2016 was the very first year that they included fixed operations. Kind of a mystery as to why it wasn't in there before, but 2016 was the very first year they had a fixed operations category. So they send out surveys to their, I think, 30,000+ subscribers and ask them to write in the names, the training companies that they've used that they rate the highest. So it's a write-in ballot. It's not a multiple choice, and that makes it even more exciting. And last year, the Dealer Pro received the Diamond Award, which there's 3 awards given in fixed ops, Diamond being #1, the highest. So we were very, very excited about that, and even better, we won it again in 2017. So it's been offered for 2 years, and we won it both of those 2 years, which I think says something about the satisfaction of our dealers out there and why so many are coming back. So what does it mean to Dealer Pro? Well, #1, my trainers are very proud. It means we got some of the best people in the industry. No one works for Dealer Pro that has not worked in retail. All of my trainers have all come from a retail service background. We have ex-general managers, ex-fixed operations directors of dealer groups, and individual service managers. And so they all come from a fixed operations background. They average about 23 years experience in retail service and parts. So I'm very proud of our team. You know, Don Reed didn't win that award. You know, all of my team members are the ones working so hard. They all work in the field. Our training is done on site at the dealership, face-to-face with real customers and real advisors and techs. So very, very proud of the team that we have out there, and we have, without question, the best in the business.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, the magazine puts out a survey. You guys don't even know that's probably happening, right? 2016, you guys come back as the #1 diamond fixed operations company in the U.S., maybe even worldwide. So that's an incredible story. I tell you, if you're listening right now, dealerships, and you haven't worked with Dealer Pro Training before, or if you've worked with them in the past and it just has been a while since you've gotten back to them, they are definitely still working out there, doing an incredibly good job, and they're coming to our show in September, 6th, 7th, and 8th at the Hyatt Regency in Dallas, Texas. Love to have everyone come down, meet with them in person. Don's going to be there. And Don, if you don't mind, share with us what you'll be speaking about at the expo coming up in September and what attendees can expect to take away from your workshop.
Sure, I'll be glad to. One of the things that we have found in the last 17 years in traveling all around the country is that we have what I refer to as a lack of accountability when it comes to the fixed operations side of a dealership. And by that, what I mean by that is that we tend to hold people at a higher standard when they're working on the variable side, whether it be in sales or F&I. And we tend to have lower standards when it comes to service advisors, for example. So I'll be talking to attendees about what you can do to improve accountability, whether it be through pay plans, whether it be through measurement and tracking. I'll also be talking with everyone on what are the essentials to increasing service absorption, which might be an old-fashioned term for some of us, but it's a critical term for a dealer who wants to be able to recession-proof his dealerships. I'll focus on the 4 essentials to achieving 100% service absorption. That's a big goal since the average dealer in America, according to NADA, is about 56%. So most every dealer has a huge need to improve their service absorption. And we know nationally that over 50%, I think it's somewhere around 56% of a dealer's total profit comes from service and parts. So it's a crucial part of every business. We still have dealers that are losing money in their service departments, and we'll be giving them some ideas as to what they can do when they go back to their dealerships. What can they do to evaluate their operation properly, and then what can they do to start building their own profit improvement plan to improve absorption?
Well, that is going to be well worth the pass. Dealers, come to our show. Spend some time. We've got Don Reed on 2 stages. He has got an incredible keynote, and then he's also got a hands-on workshop. So if you're working in service and you're interested in coming and listening to Don, if you're a principal of a dealership and you're really wanting to understand how to better manage your fixed operations, come on down to the show, spend some time with us. Don, I'm excited to meet you in person and very grateful that you actually got on here and spoke with us today. So tell me, if I'm a dealership and I'm interested in getting with you with the Dealer Pro Training, haven't gotten in touch with your company yet, what is my first step?
First step would be to reach out to us here at the office. You'll find that I'm a very easy person to speak with. I'll take anyone's calls, but they can certainly send an email in to info@dealerprotraining.com, and we'll be happy to respond to them, or they're welcome to call us. I have dealer employees that have called me just to ask questions, looking for help, and we're happy to assist them in any way that we can. So this website is, of course, dealerprotraining.com, and you can at a glance see all the various services that we have available for any dealer out there who wants to improve fixed operations.
Absolutely. So here I am on their site, everyone, dealerprotraining.com, and their 800 number is 888-553-0100. Give them a call, send them an email, get in touch with Don, and do it right away. What would be incredible would be for you to come to our show and shake his hand for saving your dealership money and making your dealership money. But realize the education you're going to get at this show is going to be incredible. Don, I'm so excited to have you come in. And thank you for spending some time with us here in our media center.
You are very welcome, sir. I enjoyed it, and I look forward to meeting you as well.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks again. And all you dealers, you have a great rest of your day, and come on back soon.